Number 5. Here we are trying to find the value of x that will make this equation true. We start off with the square root of x plus the square root of x minus 5 equals 5. Our first goal is to get one of the square roots isolated, square both sides, and so get it down to one square root. And then go ahead and isolate the other square root and eventually solve for x. So I'm going to isolate the square root that has the most stuff in it first. So I'm going to subtract the square root of x from both sides of the equation. Okay. So this now becomes the square root of x minus 5 equals 5 minus the square root of x. My next step would be to go ahead then and to square both sides. So we'll square the left and we're going to square the right side of the equation. On the left side, this just becomes x minus 5. This, on the other hand, turns into 5 minus the square root of x times 5 minus the square root of x. And now we're going to perform multiplication. It's kind of like FOIL or double distributive. So I'm going to go negative square root of x times the negative square root of x is a positive x. Negative x times 5 is negative 5 square root of x. Moving over to the bottom expression, the left term, I go 5 times negative x is negative 5 square root of x. And then I multiply directly above 5 times 5, and I get 25. Now I simply add my columns, which have like terms. So I go 25 minus 10 square root of x plus x. So that is what 5 minus x quantity squared is equal to. So we'll simply do a replacement here. 25 minus 10 square root of x plus x. Okay. Now my next goal is to isolate the other square root. So we need to start getting rid of the stuff around it. So let's start off first of all by subtracting x from both sides. This leaves me with negative 5, and I have 25 minus 10 square root of x. I'm going to next subtract 25 from both sides of the equation. So now I have negative 30 is equal to negative 10 square root of x. I'm then going to divide both sides by negative 10. So now I have the square root of x is equal to 3. And to get rid of a square root, I square it. So I go the square root of x squared is equal to 3 squared, and I wind up with x being equal to 9. That's number 5.